Hi guys, and welcome back to the Slash and Gash podcast. I think we're now on episode 4. We're on episode 4, and we are tonight going to be doing a quick review of Longlegs.
Yep.
Yeah, we saw this on Saturday night. We've taken a few days just to kind of like let it soak in, and we decided to kind of just give you our thoughts. So Frank, man, what did you think of it?
Obviously, let's just obviously like make it clear again. Like, if anyone's listening, we are gonna, talk about what happened in the film. So, if you plan to watch it, go watch it and then come back and listen to the podcast. And like we said in the last episode, we will find you and we will kill you. So, you better come back. But for those who have seen it, obviously, it's directed and written by Osgood Perkins, starring Nicolas Cage, Michael Monroe, Blair Underwood. Do you know what's mad yet? Like, the film, before it came out, it got so much hype, didn't it? Like, it was the scariest film of the year. People are gonna shit themselves. It's just gonna be mad, like, not action, but like it's just going to be crazy, scary scenes, and it did have that, but I wouldn't class it as the scariest film in a decade. That is not the scariest film in a decade. But what I will say is, it's the best horror film that I've seen in a long, long time.
That's the point. That's the point. It was as you say, like. The thing for us is nothing's going to really scare us, though. We're not an impartial audience because nothing's going to scare us.
Yeah.
But as you say, it wasn't like terrifying. It was kind of had me on the edge of my seat the entire film, but it's not like you're going to have nightmares over it. Or personally for us, anyway.
No, it's like I've been saying this quote to you for years, isn't it? Obviously, I've been twisting the Conan quote in it into. Obviously, he says, she asks him, "I suppose nothing hurts you," and he said, "Only pain." And obviously, I twist that in it, and I say, "You always ask me in it." Or, when I go on dates, the girls ask me, "I suppose nothing scares you, Frank." "Only pain." That's what I'm saying it. But it's true, man. Like, nothing really scares us anymore, innit? Like, when we were kids, obviously, Conjuring shit me up. You know that. We went to watch that back in
It was like
2013.
Paranormal Activity 3.
Yeah. I mean, we were kids, though, innit? So, like, I guess you can forgive us for being shit scared for that. I mean, you've not probably been scared for. You got scared like, you watched a film and not got scared, but like, wasn't there a film recently like you watched and thought, yo, that was a bit weird?
I think there was something a few years ago that I was like, what? It was not. I think it was like The Night House or something.
Something like that. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's kind of gone from memory though. But to get back on track, obviously, Longlegs stars. Is it Micah Monroe? Mika Monroe, something like that.
Yeah. So I was saying, like, it's got Michael Monroe and Nicolas Cage, obviously. Do you know what's mad, yeah, about this film? Like, obviously, we'll get into it more in a bit, but like, if you didn't know Nicolas Cage wasn't in this film, you wouldn't think that was Nicolas Cage, would you? You'd think that was just some random guy.
Well, he didn't look like him because of the makeup, but he sort of like Nicky C.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, the prosthetics and the makeup was really well done, in it, to make him look like proper old fuck, like make him look like he's fucked, in it. He's just been not gone to the barbers for a trim for years and just been chilling, in it.
Yeah.
I thought, like, he obviously, as Longlegs, did. Like, I can't commend him like enough. He did such a great role, man. Like, he's everything that you know Nicolas Cage to be, but on steroids. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing, because obviously you don't actually see him that much in the film, do you? Really?
Nah, but
like, he's actually in it. Yeah, so the film stars Michael Monroe, and she is an FBI agent who has kind of like a bit of a sixth sense, in a sense. She's kind of got like a real strong intuition. So they throw her on this serial killer like cold case, in which 10 families over the past 30 years have been killed, but it seems like somebody called Longlegs has influenced the fathers to basically kill the entire family. So they don't know who Longlegs is. All this Longlegs has done is like left notes at every crime scene. So they get Michael Monroe in to like basically help, and then it sends into like just a mad kind of intrigue of because I would go into the film thinking it was just going to be something like Silence of the Lambs, because obviously it said that on the trailer, but it had like a supernatural element. There's definitely like a bit of like satanic influence and like demonic influence in there.
Yeah,
And
like, I loved that like that side of it though as well. Like you see you see a lot of films like try and implement that into films, isn't it? Especially today, like Hereditary and there's loads in like Midsummer. They're always trying to like, especially A24 ones, like they're always trying to add some sort of demonic shit. Like these like they're doing what they're doing because they've been possessed by a cult. But
yeah,
this wasn't even a demon per se, was it? It was just literally just the devil.
yeah, it was Satan, or as they call him in the film, the man downstairs.
Yeah, man. I loved like if there was a demon, like if Nicolas Cage was possessed by a demon and he was doing all this shit because he was worshipping a demon, then I would have been a bit disappointed. But because it was just simply and plainly the devil, which obviously, most people probably do believe in an angel and a devil. So like it worked for what the film was. And it really did, it really, really worked. Like it just, oh man, it was just so well done. Like the dimly lit shots in like when she's in the basement, not the basement, when she's in her apartment and there's just like a little light on and she's doing her work and shit. And like just like little things like where I feel like a lot of horror films nowadays don't do well, but Longlegs did really well. Like just like when we were just sat there, like everyone was quiet. Like you could tell when a horror movie's good, where 97, 80%, 90, 97 or 98% of the audience is literally like not even moving. They're just so captivated by what's going on screen.
Mm. Well, that's
Like
what you see. It was so eerie the way that they shot it. Like it kind of did have me on the edge of your seat the entire, an hour and 40 minutes. Well, it did
Mhm.
for me until because when you get to the third act, obviously, say we're gonna have some spoilers in here. But when you get to the third act, they basically capture Longlegs kind of very easily when they find out who he is, and he basically just kills himself. Like does it just like smashes his head on the on the desk, kind of like gives it a classic, like hail Satan, and then smashes his head in, and he's dead. And then obviously it turns out later in the film, her mother is the accomplice. The main FBI agent's mother is the accomplice, so they have to go and get her. But as soon as you kind of, for me, as soon as they actually captured Nick Cage, it became less eerie. Like obviously that was when it ramped up, and they went on like they go home to her mum's house, and her mum fucking kills the FBI agent, and she
Yeah.
turns out to be obviously involved in this satanic rituals and stuff. Like it is, but as soon as that third act comes, it changes the pace. But that's not a bad thing, I don't think. It really hit the nail on the head, if you will, and amped you up to a very good ending.
Mm. I understand where you're coming from. Like for me, I understand also why Perkins, obviously the guy who wrote it and directed it, I understand why he chose to kill off Cage earlier because
Mm.
obviously even though Nick Cage was the main guy, I feel like the whole film was to do with Lee Harker in it, who's Michael
Yeah, of
Monroe's
course.
character. Nick Cage obviously is the leading role with her, but there's more attention focused on Lee Harker. So I think what they tried to do was, in my opinion, is I can only imagine they thought, you know what, let's kill him off now, like when there's about 20 minutes left, and let's just solely focus on Lee Harker and her mum because the story really is about them two in it when you think about it
Yeah,
now. When it's you know what I just love the film, man. Like I love how she was so desperate to protect her when obviously my man came at the start, like to get her.
yeah,
Um, and she's like, listen, you can do whatever the fuck you want, yeah, but I ain't gonna let you take my daughter. And I assume they obviously wanted to sacrifice her in it for the cult or whatever, or use her
Mm.
as a doll, I think. Um, and she fucking like mother's instinct in it. Like, you know what? I don't give a shit what you're gonna do. You are not taking my daughter away from me. I'll do whatever you need me to do.
Yeah, so
And
that's how she
she
gets
did in
involved in
it.
helping him. Basically, he like makes these evil dolls that have like Satan inside, and they take it inside a family's house, and then Satan obviously does his magic, possesses all the family, and basically makes them get fucking killed by the dad.
Yeah,
So obviously her mother is helping basically send this doll in that Nick Cage made. So it's an interesting concept, and again, yeah, as you say, like this is a great film. This is definitely going to be a rewatch. We're gonna have to probably watch this again around Halloween time.
100%, definitely. I think I'll definitely be watching it at least once more this year, and it'll probably be a film that we rewatch regularly. Me and you. I feel
Mm,
like it's gonna be one of them films that I just thought like they just for me they just don't make films like that anymore. Like it was it was the perfect balance for me. There wasn't like too much jump scares. The jump scares, there was a few, but
but
they
they
were
weren't.
like some were random, but I don't but because of the quality of the fucking plot and the quality of the film from start to finish, I thought, you know what? I don't mind that because some are really forced in it, and then you think, oh my God, just come on, man. Like that's so obvious that was gonna happen.
Yeah,
There,
big
there
piss
was
take.
ones where when like the camera shot was like a square on Longlegs,
Yeah,
like a frame. It was just on Longlegs, and then sometimes when she's like for example, when she found his photo that she took, and then she sees and then she realizes who he is, and then she falls back, and there was a big jump scare there, and it's
yeah,
like, I was like, you know what? Fair enough. That was actually a decent one. Like, there was a few others where obviously there was one where I said to you in it, like, was that fucking necessary?
yeah. There was no need for that, mate. But there was. I think the thing that for me, this is a bit of a random thing, but like the opening scene, which is obviously Lee Harker as a kid, and Nick Cage comes to the house, and she
Mm,
takes a picture of him, as Frank was just saying. That's really good because you kind of don't see it. Like, you don't really see a lot. Like, he says something weird, like, "Oh, it's your birthday," and then he screams and goes, "Oh!" and it cuts off. But then as soon as you actually see, for me, just as soon as you saw it was Nicky C, he just acted like Nicky C, and he just for me wasn't scary at all. Like, I know
yeah,
everybody was saying that he was going to be like terrifying, but I've seen just too much Nick Cage, and he can't help but himself in it. It's just him. So it isn't an insult to the film. It's just the guy's just too funny for my liking. I'm just feeling
yeah,
like he's just like going, "I'm a cat. I'm a sexy cat." Like
yeah,
just
yeah,
do
yeah,
something
yeah, yeah.
weird.
Yeah, he brought like a lot of Nicolas Cage isms to the role of Longlegs. Do you know what I mean? Like he
Yeah,
brought a
which I
lot of
think
his
like
he brought a
worked.
lot of traits that he has as an actor, as the person he is to the actual role, which you know I didn't mind because it is Nicolas Cage at the end of the day. He's one of them actors, isn't it? Like he's a bit like I don't know. He's a bit like there's
He's just that Don.
there's one actor there's one actor in it out there. Is like he's just I guess he's just like fuck knows I can't think right now, but there's just always that one actor where you can't really replace them from who they are on the outside
Mm.
and the role that they're playing. It's just I guess it's like Statham. Statham's very like his character in it in a lot of films. He's just very like mellowed and just like proper. He just looks like, oh, you can't, oh, you fucking can't. Come on, you fucking get
Yeah,
it. You fucking come
yeah.
on.
He just,
You
he's
know
just,
what's up?
he's just that guy, innit? He's
Yeah,
not like
like Nick Cage in it. It's just he was awesome. But you know what I loved it, yeah? On one hand, you had Nick Cage who was like fucking on a mad one. And then on the other hand, you had Michael Monroe as Lee Harker, who was so dumbed down and so like just so shallow in it. Like she was just so on the other side of the spectrum. And I thought that balance was really good.
yeah. She was very like introverted, quiet, kind of a bit weird. Like
Mm.
she was a bit of a an odd kind of not not as this is not like say anything bad about her acting. Like it was really good. It was just the way she did it. Like you're totally right. They were totally on the opposite spectrums of like people. Like
Yeah,
she's kind of
yeah.
reserved, quiet, kind of a bit shy, kind of a bit weird, and he was just like fucking laughing and going. like he's doing weird shit, you know. Like, there's
Yeah,
that bit, do you know the bit when you see him and he like goes into that store and he's
yeah,
just
yeah.
acting weird, and that little girl's like, "Oh, Dad, the weird man's back," and then he's in the car driving away, going, "Oh!" I was like, "What the fuck?"
Oh, I forgot what he says, yeah, but I know what you mean. He's just like screaming. Oh, isn't it when she says like, "Oh, Daddy," and he's like, "Mommy!"
Yeah, that's why.
God, I fucking love that guy, man. So I'm glad that they obviously casted him as that guy because you know what? The only person who they could have got is obviously Mickey Rourke because he literally looks like Mickey Rourke, with just on steroids.
He looks like Marv.
Well, he looks like Marv in it in Home Alone 2 when he gets electrocuted and all that
Yeah,
fucking dust
yeah.
falls on him. But like I was saying, like just the way the film was shot as well, like the cinematography, just from I love them horror films where it's just very dimly lit. Like I know you're not a fan of ghost stories, yeah, and I always talk about that film, Ghost Stories. It's a British horror that came out in 2017. We went to watch it back then. I really liked it. Will didn't like it that much, but I thought it was. I'm not saying I'm not comparing them, but it was shot like that. Like it was very like
Atmospheric.
overcastly shot in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, very atmospheric. Yeah.
Like it was very cloudy, and a lot of the scenes were just looking dull and grey, and I just like that shit, man. Like, it was very gritty, and every scene just looked like very like you just from one scene to the next, you just knew like some dark shit might just is gonna go down.
There's one shot I think towards the end when she's driving
Mm.
to the climax. She's going to this family's house. They're gonna have a party, and obviously the devil is there basically. So they're gonna get killed, and she's driving to like save them. And she's driving down this road, and it's like all trees on each side, seeming like that the road is kind of expanding,
Yeah,
like stretching on like that. It just the way they shot that was amazing. It was brilliant. So
yeah,
I got
hundred
to give
percent.
like I've got to give some props to the cinema photography because they really did it right. You know, like I would
Yeah.
definitely recommend this film. Obviously, hopefully everyone who's listening is has actually watched it and we haven't kind of just spoiled the film. But uh,
Well, we did
yeah,
warn them.
this is definitely for me. It was a 10 out of 10, and because the week before we watched Maxine, and that kind of really like that was a bit of a letdown. I think this really just was the really just
It
hit the nail on the
it
head.
was the kick up the backside that we needed to get
Yeah,
back into
yeah,
the horror groove.
yeah, definitely.
Even though horror groove never dies, but I get what you're saying with Maxine. Obviously, Maxine sort of, for me especially, because I'm a big lover of X. So for me, Maxine really was disappointing. So I thought, I hope Longlegs is, gonna make up for that. And it
And
didn't
it
just
paid.
make up for it. It just fucking it knocked it out of the park. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it really paid off.
And do you know what as well? Like you said about the cinematography, like when there's like them scenes where not just outside, but the indoor scenes where she's like doing the desk work, and when she's in the cop station, or when she's in her house, um it's like the light bulbs are just they were on the lowest voltage. Sorry,
Yeah,
not
that scene when
on
she
purpose.
goes home in that cabin, like in the middle of nowhere, it seems, and she's obviously sat doing work, and then she basically sees Longlegs outside in the woods. So she runs out with with a Glock out.
Yeah, yeah,
Like the background shot is like Longlegs, obviously like inside a house. He kind of like walks past, and then she goes back inside, and he's left like a note for her, like this birthday card, right? Which obviously then it shows this intrigue that it's a connection to her past. But I thought that scene was really well shot. I thought it was very eerie, very creepy. It
yeah,
just worked, as you say, just the way that like the lights in a house are so kind of dark.
yeah. And do you
It
know
just
the writer? He's the son of the star in Psycho, Anthony Perkins.
oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I saw it
So
afterwards.
it
Yeah,
kind of makes sense, isn't it? Why this guy did a fucking mad job on the film.
yeah. He's definitely got like a he's
Yeah,
got horror in his blood.
100%. And you know what? There was a bit of debate in it as well, like because there's a lot of snow in the film. You could actually watch this around Christmas time. I'd watch this around Christmas time.
I guess you could. There's only like snow in the flashback though,
Yeah,
isn't
but
there?
it isn't, but it's enough in it to say, you know what? Oh, I'm gonna whack this
So
on
what,
on
you
Christmas
watched this
Eve.
film and then that decided it's Christmas time.
You know me, bro. I'm
No,
unhinged.
it's a Lee Christmas from Expendables.
Oh, I ain't seen that. You know, I still haven't seen
You
that.
know,
Expendables 4.
Expendables 4. Right, it was all right, man. To be fair, well, there's no Sly.
Nah, well, we'll check it out again. But
A Christmas story. So now you're hyped up for Christmas because you watched Longlegs. You
no, I'm
really
just
are.
saying you can watch this at Christmas time, innit? Because it's like it's one of them. Like, would
Home,
you?
home,
I think I would,
Longlegs
just because it has a
double.
bit of
Yeah,
snow. Huh?
Longlegs Home Alone double feature.
Yeah, because it's both got Marv in it. Like this one's got Marv and Marv's cousin in it, and Home Alone 2's got Marv in it anyway.
Yeah, that's true. The
Yeah,
wet
no.
bandits, the
Yo,
Longlegs wet
what about
bandits.
shout? Just before we wrap up, shout out to Blair Underwood. He did a mad job as well as what's his fucking
A
name?
bit of agent.
Yeah, what was his name?
Oh, I couldn't tell you.
Agent Carter or something.
Yeah, he was sick, man. I liked him. He was funny.
Yeah, and obviously a lot of you when you watch the film, you'll know what happens at the end. The guy goes on a fucking mad one.
That shit was, when he was like, we were sat in the film, right? And basically, she comes into the house, Lee
Yeah.
Harker, and she goes to Agent Carter's house for his daughter's birthday, and he's possessed at this point. And he like says to her, he like shouts in like a demonic voice. He's like, "Sit down!" And then as soon as he said that, right, some little fucker from outside like had come into the cinema, into the screen, and then went, "Oh!" and started screaming at the start if it was in the film or it was
Uh,
because he's like, "Sit down," and then this guy outside went, "Oh!"
bro, I obviously didn't know he got possessed in it. Like we didn't know in it that we knew there was some shit going down, but by the time she gets to the house, it's too late because her mum's already taken that doll to the house, isn't it? To
Yeah,
possess because obviously it's and you know it's her daughter's birthday, which you whenever you guys watch the film, you'll understand why there's a big significance on the birthday, especially the 14th.
mm.
Um, it's obviously his daughter's birthday. She was meant to come round anyway because she said, "Are you going to come round?" We kind of knew in it. Do you know that scene when she's like, "Are you going to come to my birthday?" And then you kind of knew shit was going to go down anyway because they
It was
both
some
shared the same birthday,
foreshadowing.
didn't they?
Yeah, it was foreshadowing big time.
And I just love like the doll was already out, so my man was already possessed, and I was when he said she said to him something like, "Sir, I need to talk to you about something." He said, "Shit, sit down." I was
And
like,
then he goes in the
"What?"
kitchen, stabs up his wife. Obviously, comes out with the knife, and then she just pulls out the gun. Lee Harker just like plugs him, right, just blows him
Yeah.
away. Which
Oh,
was,
bro. I love that ending. So good.
yeah, it was real. I don't know, like what in a sense, like if the ending is kind of opening to a sequel. I don't think they will do,
I hope
but
not, I hope
but
not.
you never know. You know what they say: money talks, bullshit walks. So if it makes a lot of money, they might make another one.
Yeah, 100% G.
But,
But
but
I really hope not, because this can actually be one of the best standalone, like original horror pieces that we've had in a long time.
yeah, definitely.
But just that end scene, it's just so much. It's full of action, it's full of emotion, and it's just full of suspense as well. Because like on one th on me, I was saying to you in it, bro, she has to kill her. She has to kill her. There's no other choice. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like she has to, otherwise, she's gonna keep doing what she. I guess one thing I've got. I said this to you on the way home though. The only issue that I would actually just want to research or find an answer to is even though Longlegs is dead, can't she not like stop doing that shit?
Well, I didn't know because I think at that point she was actually in it. Because if you remember, like she pulls out that knife and like starts shouting, "Oh, hail Satan!" And then
Mm.
Lee Harker fucking blows her away as well. So I'm guessing at that point she was just in on it, like
Oh, I see.
like
Hmm.
she just fucking loved it or something. Like I know
Yeah,
you see it was like the mother's instinct, but I think at that point she was just too far gone.
yeah. No, you're probably right. You're probably right. Makes sense. I guess if they do make a sequel, she takes Carter's daughter away, doesn't she? And she kills her mum. She kills the doll. Well, no, she didn't shoot the doll, did she? She couldn't. There was no bullets left.
Yeah, there was no, as you said, there's no bullets in the gun, so she's
Hmm.
run out, and then it kind of just ends right. Like obviously Satan's still in that doll. So I'm guessing that the point is to dip out there with a kid, and you fucked up his plan. And now that her mum's dead and Longlegs is dead, he
Yeah.
can't do fuck all,
Carter's
can
dead
he?
as well.
Yeah, he
Kill
can't do that.
Partridge.
The Satan can't do fuck all now. So that was a
True.
good way to end it. It was decent.
Yeah. For me, it's 10 out of 10 as well. I genuinely do not give 10 out of 10s very often, if at
Mm,
all. But this, for me, it had the perfect amount of suspense, atmosphere, mood. The cinematography was really, really well done. The jump scares were at the right spot so that it didn't feel
mm.
forced. They felt earned. They didn't feel forced. The actors were very good. Micah Monroe did a really good performance, even though she was like an introvert, but she played that role really well. And Blair Underwood did a really good job as the Carter, who as Agent Carter, who was her
Mm.
superior. He did a really good job as well. The lighting of the film's awesome. The pacing of the film's really good. Honestly, I couldn't sell this film any more than we already have. So if you haven't watched it, really go check it out and let us know your thoughts in the comments.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, if you want to follow us on Instagram, it's Slash and Gash Podcast. If you want to like and subscribe, like and share, if you know anybody that likes horror, send them our stuff, give it a listen. Yeah, no. So thanks, guys. We'll have this up really soon, and we're gonna have a double feature this week. We're gonna have a double episode. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah,
Awesome.
stay spooky.